Deep in the ocean, an orca pod is on the hunt. But these aren't your average orcas. These guys are organized.
Marketing team, did you get those social media posts scheduled for the SEAL migration?
Aye, Captain. We even have an automated notification for all pod managers when they go live.
They use Monday.com to keep their teamwork sharp, their communication clear, and their goals in sight. Monday.com. For whatever you run, even orcas. Go to Monday.com to dive deeper.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Hello. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Judy Gold. This is, what is your name? Isaac Mizrahi, ladies and gentlemen. I am
Hi, everybody.
so thrilled. And the amazing Beth Sussman at the piano. Welcome to Kill Me Now. I am so happy that we have the most amazing guest, Isaac Mizrahi, this evening. Now, Isaac,
Can I do it?
this is the...
Or is it just you?
Okay, I do it. You can do it.
Control
But
freak.
no, you can do it.
Okay.
But do you know what it is? It is
No.
the Jew bell. Anything that we say that is remotely Jewish gets a ring because people need to know how much we have contributed to the world. Beth Sussman is Jewish. I'm Jewish, and you're a
Isaac
Jew.
Mizrahi is Jewish.
Jewish.
The Jewest.
The Jewiest Jew. I think you're the Jewiest person I've
You know,
ever...
and it's true. And I'm not even, and it's a whole other kind of exotic Judaism.
Right.
By the way, your name means the Jewish girl. Yehudit in French means, in Hebrew.
In Hebrew.
Yehudit in Hebrew means Yehudit.
But listen,
What?
I got my grandfather's Hebrew name, which was Yawali, which I turned out like... My rabbi's like, that's not a real name. That's Yiddish. I'm like, but, oh, Rabbi, yeah, right. See? That's not a real name. That's Yiddish. And it was like, but that was what they called him. So I'm Yoali Chana. What's yours?
What is French for Yehudit? What is French?
What is French for Judith?
I'm just kidding.
What's your
Judith.
Hebrew
My
name?
Hebrew name is Yitzchak, which means laughter.
Yes, I know. Isaac means laughter. Bet, what's your Hebrew name?
My Hebrew name is Batya, which means
Batya.
daughter of God.
It means what?
Daughter
God.
of God.
Oh, please. All right, anyway.
Or daughter of the
Daughter
gods.
of God. So,
That's
Isaac.
what it means, Judy. I'm serious.
Okay. Do you think you're a daughter of God?
I do.
Okay. Anyway, so Isaac,
So Judy, Yehudit.
I do a lot of research, and you are a true New Yorker. You grew up in Midwood, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Jewish. And you come from an Orthy family, like Orthy.
It's so weird to
But-
try to.
Really?
Yeah.
But you
'cause
went to yeshiva.
I went to yeshiva.
God, this thing's
And,
going to go off the whole show. All right.
I mean, there's no other use for
I know.
it, right? But I went to yeshiva that was very, very, very Orthodox. But
Right.
in the house, it was this kind of weird, anomalous thing where, like, you could do stuff and you drove on Saturday and.
Oh, right. Yeah. We did that too.
Yeah.
Like I have to get a few out so I can tell
can I
the
just-
story.
Okay, so there you go.
All right.
But now, like weirdly, my sisters are super.
Oh, they became super Jewy?
Jews, yeah.
So we did. My mother was really Jewy, but she would drive to synagogue on Saturday, but she wouldn't knit. My mother knit and crocheted, and she would not knit or crochet on Saturday.
Well, she obviously saw that as a kind of hard labor, as opposed
Right.
to like a joy. It's not a joy.
No, but
my
she
mother
loved
taught me
it.
how to knit, and here's how she taught me how to knit. Right?
Yeah.
That's not how you knit. This is how you knit. That's how my mother taught me how to knit.
Sisters,
Two.
and you're the
Youngest.
yes,
Yes.
because all the youngest, unlike Elisa,
the
where are you?
youngest?
Elisa, Elisa's right over there.
Hi, Elisa.
Elisa is all into birth order because she's
she
the
is.
oldest and she thinks she knows everything. So she's always like, "Oh, youngest, middle. That's not going to work out." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, okay?" So
Are you the youngest or
I'm the
something?
youngest.
Boom. Boom. Because we're neglected. We get to do whatever the hell
Right.
we want.
Plus, it's like you look at them and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, what is that?
Younger.
Oh, yeah. Is that mine?
Our
Okay.
love for you
Is
is
where
way
you're
out of line.
blind. Better run, girl.
Obviously not my key.
Right.
You're much,
Much
too
too
young, girl. I was going to do the harmony.
Oh, you're much too young, girl.
It's like a
bad,
menacing
bad,
harmony.
bad,
Isaac,
bad.
harmonizing with Judy
Okay.
is a difficult task.
It was really bad.
It's
Sorry.
all right. So you grew up in Midwood. You Jew. Gay from day one. Like I knew from the very beginning. And I was
Me
like,
too.
but you don't really know what it is, but you're like, oh, I'm different. But I knew I couldn't tell anyone. Did you have that?
This is all covered in my book.
Yes.
Judith. I am a memoir.
Yes, I am.
I feel pretty
His new.
and
Oh,
witty and bright.
Tell-
And I pity any girl who isn't me tonight.
now you were on the New York Times bestseller list.
I was.
And wait, this is
Oh, and when I
so
called
my mother.
Wait a minute, no. I called
You
my
have to get his
mother,
book. It's amazing.
And
Go.
I was like so excited. I was like, Mom, I'm on the New York Times bestseller list. What number? Like not even like
that is
congratulations.
exactly what my mother would say.
Number.
When I did the Tonight Show the first time, my mother
Yeah.
leaves me this answering machine message. I don't understand all the commercials. I mean, there's so many. I'm like, can you say something like, it was good. It was good, but there's so many commercials. You were on at the end. I'm like, when were you on? When? Okay. So,
I wrote a screenplay.
Yeah.
One of many, and for some reason at the time I just thought, oh, this would be smart to give it to my mother to read.
Right.
Not a smart thing. But of course, the thing that she said to me after she finished reading it was like, did you format that yourself?
Wow.
Did you format it yourself?
Right. That's the compliment. Okay.
Exactly.
So you wanted a Barbie
I did want a Barbie. Yeah.
really bad.
I got a Barbie.
Right, but it
eventually.
took a while. You
took a
wanted the
minute.
deluxe.
Didn't get the deluxe.
Right. But it took a year, right? You
It
were
took-
5?
I don't even
or-
remember how long it took.
Well,
it
in
took
my notes.
a lot
Yeah.
of sort of doing.
Right.
And a lot of cajoling. And then one day, it was sort of not the center
Right.
thing. And I was at the Avenue U toy store and I picked out this kind of little depressing, it's just her in the box.
Right.
Yeah. Not with the cute outfits on the side
Right.
and the pony or whatever else it came with.
Right.
It was just her in the sort of coffin, basically.
Right.
And my mother was like, all right, she tossed it into the basket. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting a Barbie. And then I just got her through the paying process. And
Right.
it was like, yeah, let's get home. That
Right.
kind of moment.
But you sort of created a life for Barbie. Like you
did.
thought of her as a real woman.
I did think of her as a real woman, the way I think of women as
Right.
real women,
Right.
as opposed to, fake women. Or
Right,
something,
right.
And which was nothing wrong with fake women, trust me. But
Yeah.
but
You're gonna get in big
but like it was
trouble.
more like a sort of a fantasy, a story about this woman, not just clothes.
What do you remember the story?
Yes, I remember that she was going to this dinner where she was being honored, or someone was being honored, and she had to look really good. So I made her this
Right.
dress from these scraps. My mother had this beautiful, I don't know where she got it, but
Right.
it was short. She shortened a dress that was kind of blue crystal pleats, they have that sort of lettucey hem.
Right,
And I
yes.
made a strapless dress for Barbie from the sort of, with a big obi sash.
Right.
And she had those legs, and everything worked with black pumps.
Right.
And yeah.
And she was a goy. She was
she
a
was
goy.
a big shiksa goddess. Yes, she was.
So, and your mother, like the thing I mean, you talk a lot about your mother in the book.
She's sort of the Madame Bovary of
Right.
my book. Yeah.
And-
of the Jews, the Madame Bovary of the Jews. She doesn't kill herself at the end.
Yeah,
Just a
she-
surprise. That's not the spoiler alert. But
you also were doing these Liza and Barbara impressions,
well,
right?
that's how. Yes.
Don't tell me. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, at some age, I don't know, I sort of discovered Barbara. She
Right.
was like the saving
Well, first of all,
grace.
I have to say,
that was a very sort of.
right.
Like we
well,
almost
that's
didn't
how
hear that.
Barbara would do it with her long
Exactly,
nails.
yeah.
But I have to say, I'm part gay. I mean, I loved Barbara so much. And I think for a different reason. I mean, I think I loved her because she was not, traditionally beautiful. And she, everyone said negative stuff about her. And she persevered. And she was a Jew.
And go back to this for a minute because it wasn't politicized. It was just that she looked like that.
Right.
And those who loved her could love her, and those who didn't love her could say, "Oh, she's a dog."
Right.
So that's what I liked about that time. Everything was kind of integrated. And it didn't matter. It wasn't like there were huge factions of people like sort of liking her on Instagram or not. Right. She just was a huge star. And I sat there in the dark in 1968 when I was 7. Right. And I watched that movie thinking like, oh my God, after being in the yeshiva, right, forever, with only rabbis and Rebbitzin sort of breathing down my back, there was Streisand, also Jewish, sounding like my sisters, like with a Brooklyn accent, seriously.
And she's from Midwood too, right?
I don't know where she's from, but she's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
And it sounded like my sisters, and she kind of looks like my sisters. She had a big nose, which was everything, right? And I just found it to be this incredible inspiration, really. If you're listening, Barbara, and also I met her.
I know! I can't fucking believe
I know, that was a
it.
crazy thing. It was a crazy thing. I went to her apartment. I mean,
What?
Come on, yes.
What is it like?
It was everything. She likes antiques. Mrs.
Right.
Streisand likes antiques.
And it's enormous, right?
It's fabulous. I mean, I don't know if it's the same place now. It was on Central Park West. And
92nd
I don't
Central
remember.
Park. Yes,
I don't remember
it was.
exactly, but I remember there was one
Do you know-
chair.
Yes,
there was a
92nd
chair with
Central
like
Park.
stanchions around it, like velvet ropes that you weren't allowed to. She's like, oh no, don't sit in the. It was like Ethan Allen's like actual chair or something. Or like Benjamin
Wow.
Franklin's actual chair.
And then her son lived there for a while.
Did he? Jason?
Yeah, and he went to the
Yay.
Equinox.
I always
see
dreamed
him
that
there.
like Jason and I would meet and fall in love, and I would be like her son-in-law.
And that didn't
It never
happen.
happened. Yeah. Jason.
Well, you have Arnold.
Jason, if you're out there, I'm married, but and so
Oh,
far
wait,
we don't have an open relationship.
You don't?
No, not yet.
But a lot of.
Not yet.
Oh, I keep saying that to
If
Elisa.
the right
but,
relative
yeah.
of Streisand came along, though, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Arnold, if you're listening. Sorry.
Your mother actually worked in clothing, right?
No, my
That's-
father did. My father did.
I heard
yeah.
that.
No, my mother never worked a lot in her life. She worked when he died.
right.
She got this job at Tiffany for
Right.
like 6 months.
Right.
And then when they didn't promote her to president of Tiffany, she quit. She was like worked on the floor, and she was like,
I think we
"Excuse
have
me, like
the
I've been
same-
working here for 6 months, and I'm not running the store. What the fuck?" Right? Yeah.
That's hilarious. So, okay. Then I mixed a story up with your father. Okay, so.
By the way, she spent more money on plates and dishes and silver for me than she made. Yeah, she did not make a cent at Tiffany.
Really?
Yeah, and she makes up things about like serving Meryl Streep. I mean, she makes up all these things about
Right.
dignitaries who would come in needing service for 12 at whatever. Yeah.
And?
She's a very good kind of storyteller, my mom.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love her.
I love
Okay.
her too.
She used to take you to Loman's,
Yes,
which
she did,
we
honey.
have so many. I remember going to Loman's to the women's dressing room and seeing Loman's.
Sorry, Loman's,
Everyone was
exactly.
naked. They'd be like,
Sorry, that's not appropriate. Go
right?
on.
No, it's everyone was. But you know what? I used to go. We went to the JCC, and I used
You
to.
did.
And who was I talking to? And they were like, "Oh, I remember when I was a boy and I went to the JCC." Some gay that I know, and like, "Oh, I remember looking and thinking, oh, wow, that's interesting," And I was like, "Oh my God!" I went to the JCC, and it was like all these women with big fucking Jew tits,
Giant tits.
yeah,
And-
giant, like
and-
hanging and.
And by the way, I kind of write about this in my
Yeah.
memoir a little bit. Like, panties were like the size of pillowcases.
Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, in these upsetting, like sort of colors that were supposed to represent like flesh tones, but
Right,
really
right.
they were more like sort of fake limb colors, like
Right.
right?
Right, like mannequins.
Like mannequin
Yeah.
color, or like not even mannequin, like prosthetic limb
Yeah.
flesh color, right? Yeah.
And I used
and
to.
they smelled so bad, and they were made of like no natural fibers.
Right.
No natural fibers.
And I remember my grandmother putting on her girdle, and then it had these little things on the end of the girdle
Yes,
that she put the stockings
garters,
on. Yeah.
Garters, built-in garters.
Right.
Yes.
And then she would put the stockings
Of course,
on. And I was like,
of
I'm never
course.
wearing stockings again, ever. But you said that you learned some sort of psychological thing in that dressing room
Yeah.
about clothes and about women.
Yes, I did. just observing like that, you
Right.
can't help noticing who gives a shit and who doesn't give a shit. And what's good about that as a kid is you don't give a shit.
Right.
So you kind of go like, really, all that fuss with all that lingerie, etc. You know, it's like, and then there's someone with some no lingerie, and she's just as cool, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was a very good, giant exposure to different kinds of women. You know.
And it was competitive. Like people would be like, "Oh, are you done with? Are you buying that? Are you buying that?" You
you're
know,
not going to fit in that.
right?
She's not going to fit,
Right.
right? That's my size, right?
Right.
Literally ripping stuff out of each other's hands.
And it was just this room. There was no privacy.
And before it was a room, you know, my mother used to tell me stories on Saturday mornings. I had these breakfasts with her where I would like cook her breakfast. I learned how to saute because I heard the word on the
very
French
nice.
Chef with Julia Child.
Right.
And I learned how
She
to
was a
saute
spy, and she was over
vegetables.
6 feet tall. Go ahead.
Boom. But
No, she wasn't Jewish.
She wasn't. Well, she gets an honorary.
Yeah, I
right?
loved her.
Exactly. But anyway.
Because she
so-
ate fattening foods. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I learned to saute, and I made my mom these like sort of, you know, elaborate breakfasts, and we sat and talked. And she would tell me stories about the original Lomans with a woman named Mrs. Loman who sat in a big peacock chair throne.
Like Barbara in her apartment.
Like apparently she had like a stick.
No way.
That's what my mom says, yeah. And she would say, oh, no, take that off. Put this on. Take that. She would direct people.
No.
Yes. Apparently Mrs. Loman on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn, yes.
What? Did you ever go to Loman's with your mother?
I went to Loman's all the time in Hewlett.
In Hewlett?
Hewlett. Well, you know, I hate to disappoint you, Bet, but Hewlett was really not the flagship.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Hewlett was not the flagship.
Hewlett was not the flagship of anything, Isaac.
Wow, Bet.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
You refer to yourself as a chubby gay thumb.
Yes. That's what I was. I stuck out like a chubby gay thumb.
Right.
Yes. And that's actually one of the sentences that got pulled out a lot from the book. And I'm still a chubby gay. I mean, I'm still not exactly the most kind of...
You are so beautiful.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Inside and out.
That's the best you can fucking do.
I know.
Like... How about... Woo! Yeah, thank you. There you go. There you go. Thank you. And by the way, follow me on Instagram. Just kidding.
I know. Me too. I need more aspirin.
And just follow us, for Christ's sake. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Go on.
So...
Well, chubby gay thumb, 'cause, yeah.
I hear you. I listened to an interview that you did, and I so relate. Like you said, and I related so much. And you said something like, you make fun of you for being gay. It's fine because you're born that way.
Yes,
but fat
you can control.
But,
except if you're on antidepressants and if you give up smoking.
Right.
Okay. You cannot control it.
Right. Now I got called Bigfoot and Sasquatch because I was tall, but that...
That's funny. I'm sorry. It made me laugh. I'm sorry. It was just, you said it in a funny way. Can we laugh, please? Can we listen to Taylor Swift and just be nice to each other?
I'm sick of her.
Being so mad at each other?
First of all... but I couldn't change being tall, and it was torture. It was torture, but I could feel. But I'm telling you, I didn't walk by a schoolyard till I was like in my 30s and had to go.
Yeah.
And I used to think people that were laughing behind me were laughing at me because it was fucking torture.
Totally.
But your mother, you went to therapy at 6 years old.
I did go to therapy at 6 years old. Yeah, because that's first grade, right?
Right.
First grade. I was in therapy.
And did you ask for therapy?
No. I was about to get thrown out of the yeshiva, and they
For
said
what?
For causing crazy insanity.
You don't remember?
First grade. Yeah. No, I had these hysterical fits where I would like just tantrums. Right.
All right, do one.
I didn't like being there. I can't do it.
I'll be the rabbi.
It's too much.
What
for
is
me.
wrong with you, Isaac?
And I would feel like I was.
What is wrong? You don't fit in with the fucking people here.
Falling backwards.
Right.
Yeah, they suspended me, right? But then they expelled me, which means you can never come back, right? And somehow I wrote this in my memoir, and the editor was like, "No, they couldn't have expelled you because then they would never take you back." And I was like, "No, they expelled me at Yeshiva Flatbush. It was my mother's sort of incredible, incredible kind of." Convincing ways that she said, if I take him to therapy, would you take him back? And so they said yes, right? And so I went to therapists.
Do you remember your first therapist?
I do, yeah.
Jewish?
I mean, it was yes, of course.
Okay, just checking. I wanted to ring the bell.
Not only Jewish, but rabbinical. He was the one that the school. Yes, he was the one that the school recommended, which of course is like being recommended by the Ku Klux Klan to take it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, right? Like, oh, I don't want to be lynched. Who should I, go? The Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
Here they are. Why don't you consult? Right? So I went to this guy, and he was scary. And then another guy. Read it in my book, darling. And then I ended up with this fabulous woman called Dr. Mossey, Mossey, who I thought my whole life's name was Dr. Morsi, but that they were just crazy Jews calling her Dr. Morsi, Dr. Morsi. But I thought it was Morsi, like M-O-R, like Morse code.
Right.
But in fact, it was Dr. Mossey, and I loved her. And I saw her for about 4 years.
How old were you when you went to her?
I started when I was in first grade.
Oh, you went to the rabbi,
yes.
And then you were like, no,
my mom kind of shuttled me to different people, and then she was in Gramercy Park, so it was great. We got to come in from Brooklyn to go to Gramercy Park and be in that fabulous apartment, and she was fabulous, and she looked like Eleanor Roosevelt. She was great.
Oh, I love that. Did you lay on the couch, or was it talk therapy?
No, I played with toys. I played with things and drew things. Right.
And then she tried to have a conversation with you.
Yes, and then she told, I guess, when I came out to my mom when I was 17, my mother was like, "Oh, no, you're not gay." And I was like, yeah, I'm gay, And she's like, "No, you're not. Dr. Morsi told me that you're not gay." I was like, well, and I thought, well, did she get it wrong? Or was she trying to give me a leg up or something?
Right.
I don't exactly know why Dr. Morsi.
And it's fitting that she looked like Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes, and my grandma.
Who was also...
like Eleanor Roosevelt, yes.
Yeah. So you're in therapy, and you have friends, though. You talk about, you did have friends.
I had one friend named Jackie Gindy who I loved. And the rest of them were... Jackie Gindy, you could totally ring the bell for Jackie Gindy.
Okay, Jackie! Woo!
Yeah, he was a doll. And he was like sort of... what was that wonderful Thomas Mann book about the friends? And one of them was sort of an outcast, and one of them was really fabulous, and everybody loved him. It was that story.
Right.
I forgot what it's called. Does anybody remember it? Tonio Kroger or something, right?
Okay.
Anyway, Tonio Kroger, German, right?
Right.
Sturm Drang. Thomas Mann. Anyway, so Jackie was everybody loved Jackie, and so everybody was so much nicer to me.
Because you had Jackie on your side.
That's right.
It was like that Revenge of the Nerds movie.
Yes, completely.
I cried at that movie.
Or like, like Hairspray when the cute guy falls in love with her, and you're like, wait, how does that happen? Jackie Gindy. Seriously. I'm not sure he fell in love with me because I think he's straight, but I'm not sure. I can't be sure.
You don't know.
We don't know.
So you said that being gay... What?
I had to point my toes. Sorry.
You said that during your childhood, being gay was like outside of the realm of any possibility.
Persona non grata, honey.
So
in that community,
But you knew, and yet you knew that...
It wasn't an issue because they couldn't even, you couldn't even go near it as a subject. So I was safe. If I just hid, I was perfectly safe, it wasn't something that was like, are you gay? They didn't even know what, and they couldn't even imagine the act of, I couldn't imagine the act of gay sex.
Right.
My mother tells me, when I told her when I came out, she's like, well, I didn't know what a lesbian was until I was 30, so.
I should have come over there.
That's a cue for a song.
Yeah. So.
What was that? Was that
what
like
is
a
that?
lesbian theme?
Sexy blues.
Sexy blues.
Do you think they were talking what's your mother's name?
Sarah.
Sarah. I think that Isaac is a little...
Light in the loafers. No.
Yeah, nothing?
No. I mean, maybe, but not to her. I mean, it's such a weird...
And no one else in your family's
gay? By the way,
gay?
I'm doing Streisand impersonations.
I know, and Liza Minnelli.
Exactly. And so when I came out and she was like, no, you're not, and I had no idea, I'm like, what? I make puppet shows, and I am doing Judy Garland impersonations, and you don't have any clue that I'm like, really, lady? Really?
And I made clothes for my Barbie,
Yeah, exactly.
So
And I rejected G.I. Joe out of hand, Uzi gone. I tried to make him some cute clothes, didn't work.
Don't ask, don't tell, baby.
They gave me a G.I. Joe, right? You get a G.I. Joe instead of a Barbie.
It's so not like that now.
No, and I don't wish it was. I don't wish it was. No,
either.
It's great that it's not.
Right.
I can't believe how lucky young gay people are to have
us
for
agree.
parents. Oh, my God.
So much that these kids come out.
I only wish that your kids were gay, for Christ's sake.
I say that to them every day. I'm like, do you think you're a little gay? Do you think you could fall in love with a guy?
That's some bad parenting.
No, I know. And I'm going to be sitting at the Hebrew Home for the Aged with shit all over me.
Seriously,
and no one visiting me.
No one's visiting.
No.
Me too, and that's just fine because I don't want to visit old people. I don't want to do it. I am the first person. If you're old, don't know me. When I'm old, I don't want to know anybody.
Really?
I just want to sit in a room. I mean it.
But you said you learned, your mother is very optimistic. And you also said that she would talk to you and your friends like
peers.
adults.
Yeah, she was great about it.
From day one.
That's why all of my friends love her. That's why Arnold, my husband, loves her, because they have this crazy thing. And it's kind of like Brideshead Revisited. Did you ever read that book?
No.
You never read it? Oh, you
Everything he asked me, I'm like, no.
Well, it's like, I forget the name of the character, but he just hates his best friend for loving his mother so much. You know what that's like, right? Your husband goes, oh, no, but your mother's so great. And you're like, I want to kill you. If you knew her, if you knew Sarah, like I knew Sarah. Oh, what a gal. Oh, sorry.
I love it. So, yes.
No, yes, no, Belle.
So you're 15 and your father buys you a sewing machine.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a good relationship with him.
Well,
or it was fraught. Or
it was fraught. He didn't get me. Yeah, he didn't get me.
Did he? And your sisters? Did he get your sisters?
He got my sisters,
right.
Yeah. I think he did. Yes. And here's the thing, he manufactured children's clothes. That's what he did. And he had all these machines in the basement. I mean, it does sound kind of creepy.
Right.
The point is that I didn't use those machines because they were massive, terrifying machines, but I saved all this money one summer to sew puppets. I didn't have any intention of making clothes. I just wanted to make puppet making easier. So I saved up all this money babysitting when I was 14. And I bought this sewing machine. And he taught me, and he came with me, and he convinced me to buy another machine.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So he was kind of supportive. Do you think he knew? I know you never told him, but do you think he knew?
Well, in the book, I talk about the idea that I think he knew just based on some information, like at dinner here and there. He would say, I'd say something like, when I was in my 20s, I'd say, I love to cook. He'd be like, oh, really? Well, if you love to cook, you better find a cleaning lady who likes to do dishes. He didn't say. He didn't say you better find a wife who likes to cook. Right. He said that.
But don't you think that's loving in a way?
Yes. And then when I was 15 and 16, he would buy me these attachments for the sewing machine, which was very, very sweet. I mean, that was loving. That was supportive. All of a sudden I'd have a ruffler or a guide or something. It was just
So
great.
That's how he showed you.
That's how he showed me. He loved me, yes. And I didn't take it as love at the time. I thought ruffler. Thanks. I know how to make
now
it.
that you look back.
But now that I look back, it was like his way of really loving me. You
Right.
know? Yeah. Very, very sweet.
What is that?
What is this thing called love? Is that what you're
I
doing?
love that. So,
Just who can solve this mystery? Why should it make? Okay, it's not my key.
It is your key.
yes, it is.
Took it up
It
for
is
me.
your key.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself, you can process, and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it, and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
So you go to the yeshiva, and then you get into LaGuardia High School, the high school for the performing arts.
Forget about it.
And now,
aren't you jealous of me, Judy?
Just so you know, I went to music camp, and following year Fame came out.
Which I'm in.
What?
I am in Fame.
And the orchestra conductor was all the kids from Fame were at my music school. So I was like, oh my God! But yes, I was I had to fucking grow up in New Jersey. I had to grow up in fucking New Jersey in a fucking high school where everyone called me Bigfoot and Sasquatch.
Wow.
It's horrible. I was in the marching band.
Everyone, wow.
Played clarinet. I mean, it's the worst. Orchestra. I couldn't be in the play.
A reed instrument, no less.
Yes,
a double reed.
No,
instrument.
oboe's a double reed.
Oh, double reed.
Let me tell you, and I couldn't get in the play because I was too tall. It was fuck you all, by the way. So you get into LaGuardia. Did your mother take you in for the audition?
Well, it was actually another thing. This wonderful teacher called Sheila Kanowitz. I beat you, Sheila Kanowitz.
Sheila! Yeah.
You know what? She is like, forget To Sir with Love, forget like any fantastic movie or book or something about a great teacher. She was the ultimate great teacher to me because she noticed me sort of struggling at the yeshiva. Sort of, meaning very. Right.
Do you think she was a lesbo?
No, I think she was an earnestly beautiful person, right? Not that lesbians can't be earnestly beautiful people. I never met a lesbian that was really earnest and beautiful.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
Kidding. I mean, that was just the biggest joke
How
in the
did you
world.
not play the To Sir with Love theme? Those schoolgirl days of telling tales and biting nails are gone.
Wow, you know all the words?
Oh my God, you don't know.
Lulu.
Yes.
Just saying. 2 words.
Let me just say something. I spent a lot of time in my room alone.
Me too, honey.
Thinking the wallpaper were people in the audience, okay? And my brush was a fucking microphone.
Of course. Absolutely.
And my brother and sister going, shut up! So it was great.
So Sheila Kanowitz noticed.
Yes.
And she was like, maybe you shouldn't go to Yeshiva High School. Maybe you should go to a different
She said it
place.
to you or your mother?
She said it to me, and I was like, oh my God, could you help me?
Right.
Help me, And so she convinced them to let me go, which was a big thing. And then she helped me work on my audition for the drama department. And Alan Small, who was my music teacher at the time, Alan Small, exactly, he helped me work on my music audition, which I did not.
What was it?
There were 2 pieces. One was some Mozart thing that was very fast. Yeah, exactly, that. And and the other was an original arrangement of The Man I Love or Swonderful or something, right? Yeah, exactly.
Wait, you sung it or you played it?
No, I played it on the piano.
Wow.
Yeah. But then I didn't get into the music department, and I did get into the drama department. So it took me a minute, and then I went to performing arts, which was a very, very big deal. Because first of all, I had to take the subway
An hour.
An hour, darling. I had to walk to the subway.
This
which
is
was
so like
40 minutes.
we would walk 4 miles.
I know.
In the
so
snow.
Old. I know.
And we had holes in our shoes.
Fuck you, Judy Gold.
Yeah.
Fuck you because you're right.
That's the way it was. But it's true. They don't do it, these kids.
No,
Can I
no, they have hoverboards
yeah.
or something.
It's so fucking annoying.
Or they have private cars. Your kids have private cars.
My kids? No. Elisa, do our kids have private cars? Yeah. Thank you.
How do they get to school?
Well,
How do you live with
this
yourself?
This is
more
the difference between my ex and me. So I would either take them on my bike or
on your bike. Wow.
There's a thing on the back, whatever. And then when they got too big, I would take the bus or the subway with them, and we would read the sports section. And that was our little bonding time. And I was
wait
like,
a minute.
can we
I
read
did the New York
arts?
Times
Yeah.
crossword puzzle every day of my life,
No.
starting in high school. Yeah. Because
At Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Absolutely.
What?
With a bunch of friends. Stephen Flynn.
No, not
me,
Jewish. Was
Kevin
Stephen
Ryan.
Flynn Jewish?
No, Stephen Flynn was such a shiksa.
Okay.
Wednesday's hard.
What?
And Wednesday's hard. Well,
Yeah,
Friday.
I think Wednesday's hard.
I mean, Friday,
I thought
Saturday.
this Monday was pretty hard.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. This weirdly
I was
wasn't
like,
that
fuck
easy.
you.
Yeah.
Can't you just, like,
I know. I thought it
look
was me. I
forward-
thought maybe I was just
I was like, what the
hungover on
fuck
too many
is this?
tranquilizers or something.
And I'm like, just give me one easy puzzle, and then Tuesday
Yeah.
So when you went to yeshiva, did you have to wear a kippah and the tzitzit? The whole nine?
We had like 7 a.m. prayers that we had to show up for. 7 a.m., okay? And then we had cause for the minyan. And especially after we were 13, we really had to show up. And at that point, we learned how
with
to
the
put on
tzitzit, with the tefillin?
Tefillin,
Yeah,
exactly.
And you're Sephardic.
Yes.
So you get to eat peas and
That's
rice
right.
on Passover.
And we don't get to have fun. We just get to, And it all sounds like terrible caterwauling in shul. It doesn't sound like pretty fun songs.
Really?
It sounds like someone just died, No, like if you ever go to like a Syrian or a Sephardic
It's like,
shul, it's like, no, it sounds like someone just died. Yeah, it's awful.
Okay.
No, that's your shul when someone dies.
What about this? When they're all like,
well, of course.
That. And do you think they know what they're saying? They're really saying
I think
it?
they're just mumbling.
Yeah, like,
mumbling,
I fucking hate
mumbling and swaying. That's how I
need a bagel.
In my memoir, it's a lot of mumbling
I want a bagel, and I want a bagel, and I want a bagel with cream cheese, and a bagel, cream cheese, and I want some salmon and a herring, and I want some herring. All right, so it's like a culture shock for you.
Yes,
because you've lived in this bubble your whole life, and then you go to the fucking LaGuardia High School.
Crazy, liberal, amazing. All the teachers were genius, fabulous people, and
So when you took that train ride home, was it depressing? Was it like, oh,
yeah,
fuck?
I mean, it was, and it kind of wasn't, because starting at that age, I didn't go home so much, and no one noticed, right?
What?
I'm telling you, I went out all hours of the day and night, and I met my friends, and we went out, and
Would
we
you
went to
say?
movies,
Would you
and we
call
went to-
your mother and say I'm sleeping over?
Sometimes when I got around to it, and other times she didn't. I don't know why. It was
What?
just a different,
That's not
Darling,
Jewish.
I'm serious. No, it was a different time. She used to. I have this thing about when I was like at some point. She had her lie downs, which means she took a Valium and went to and she read. She read every book imaginable.
Her lie downs?
She had lie downs, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And
I need a
and
lie
we knew
down.
not to sort of go near her for those hours.
Lisa, I need a lie down. Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, and yes, here and there they'd say are you crazy? You came home at 3. But then a lot of times they didn't notice, and it was kind of fabulous because I guess by the time I was
because your
of an
sisters were
age-
out of the house,
well,
or
my sisters were of marrying age, so that's all they could
Which
think
at that
of.
time
Oh,
was
darling.
20, 21?
No, 16, 18.
What?
Oh, darling.
No
Sephardic
way.
Jews. Will you read my book, please, Judy Gold? Read my book. Okay? Yeah. It's very
I read
sick.
portions.
It's very,
Okay.
very sick. It's
Yeah.
very sick. If you're 24 and unmarried in that community,
Right.
you are over the hill.
I
You
saw
are-
Fiddler. Did you see The Fiddler in Yiddish?
I did not.
Oh my God, it was so good.
I know.
It was so fucking good. It's like I don't ever.
What's her name still in it? Who I love.
Jackie Hoffman?
Jackie,
Yes.
Still in it. Yay, Jackie.
Is it still going?
Jackie
no,
Hoffman.
it is. 2 more weeks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I love Jackie Hoffman.
Me
She
too.
did the podcast.
Who doesn't love Jackie Hoffman?
Well, there's people.
Nice one. Oh, nice one.
So, I used to wake up in dread to go to high, and you probably woke up like, yay, I get to go to high school.
I'm gonna live forever. Yeah, exactly.
I want to learn how to fly high.
Singular sensation. Yeah, I'm serious.
Wait. Oh, what was that song? The last song when they go.
What I did for love. That
no,
one?
that's in the chorus line.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm sorry. I was talking. I shifted immediately.
No, I'm talking about Fame.
Oh, okay. Which one?
At the Fame.
Oh.
I sing the body electric.
Okay, yes.
I
Walt
celebrate
Whitman. Yeah, exactly.
me
I
yet to
celebrate the-
come.
Yeah, exactly.
I toast to my own reunion.
Well, here was the thing about
when
that.
I become one with the I used to fucking sing.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Of course
and
you
then
did.
I would go running. I'd be like, and I'll become one with the sun. Like I look like
Can I
such
just
a
tell you
fucking
something,
asshole.
by the way?
Yeah.
No shade to who directed it? Alan.
I don't know, Jew. Go ahead.
It's unwatchable. Have you seen it recently? It's
No.
unwatchable. Yes.
You know what I remember? My one scene was when Ann Mira says,
Ann
I'm
Mira.
a person.
Oh, wait, could I tell you
I
Ann
love
Mira?
Ann. She's converted.
Because here's the thing. I had one of my friends in high school was this girl called Francesca Rollins, whose dad was Jack Rollins. Jack Rollins. You know who
Rollins and
he was.
Joffe.
Rollins and Joffe. He produced all of Woody
Joffe.
Allen's movies.
Yes.
And even after, he was
Right.
still getting credits.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Anyway, so she used to have this open
How did she
house.
get into the school?
I don't know. She was really talented. She was a
she
good
was?
actress.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was a friend, and she used to have these open houses on New Year's Day, and like everybody was there, including Anne fucking.
No,
Mira.
and Jerry?
Yes. And Jerry. And
The
here I am,
nicest
like
person.
14, going like, what the fuck? All these crazy people were at this party, the Rollins party.
Loved Anne, and I knew her at the, and she was the sweetest. But when she, in that
She
movie.
was a role model for you, no?
Oh,
A little
yes.
bit tall,
Yes.
redhead, sort of. I don't know.
And
you're not
when
really a redhead, but-
when she says, do you remember that? When she says, I'm a person to like the kids complaining or something, and she's like, because something, whatever. Is it really
unwatchable.
bad?
Yeah,
really?
it's really bad, yes.
So,
Sorry, where were
so
we?
you're in the acting program.
Yes. Wait a minute.
What were
the
some of the
first
yeah.
day of school?
Yeah.
We get this assignment in drama class.
Yeah.
You have to interview someone in the theater. It could be like an usher. It could be like a lighting designer. It could be something, this or that. So I get it into my head because it was the original production of Chicago.
Okay.
Remember Chicago? The great thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking the original show, right? And I got it into my head that I had to meet Gwen Verdon, right? Oh yeah. So I wait outside the theater, right? And wait. And it was matinee day. I figure she has to come out for a bite between the day show and the night show, right? So first, Cheetah Rivera comes out because she was another star. And I was like, and somehow she talks to me, and I'm not exactly sure why. She's like, oh, hey, kid, well, yeah, I'm kind of, I have an assignment from school. I have to talk to someone in the theater. And Cheetah goes, yeah, I'm in the theater.
Ah!
And I go, yeah, I know, but I'm waiting for Gwen Verdon. Right? I swear to God. Anyway, so finally, after Jerry Orbach and everybody in the world, Patsy Kelly, I mean, it was a good cast, right? Finally, Gwen comes out, and she not only did she talk to me and do the interview, she took me to Joe Allen.
No!
I swear to you. For
How
a late
old?
lunch. Me?
Yeah.
What's the first year high school? What's
14,
the first day of high
14.
school? 14 years old. She took me to Joe Allen's for a early dinner. I swear to God. And she gave me all
And
this
you
advice.
sat there with her?
Including,
Oh
which I thought was
God.
very ironic.
Yeah.
She gave me the advice, don't get romantically involved with anyone you work with. That was true. I'm not kidding. Gwen Verdon, that's ironic.
That's
right?
funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Because Verdon
was
Fossey
14.
is on right now, assholes.
Well, yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
So that's a great story.
Gwen Verdon, okay?
Did you
Yes.
ever talk to her again after that?
No. Nope, I never did. Never saw her again.
Wow. Also, you were selling stuff to Bergdorf's, weren't you at that
I was
time?
selling,
You're 15
I was
and you
selling
were
stuff to Charivari.
sketches.
Charivari.
Oh, I remember Charivari.
Remember Charivari?
We used to call it
That was my
Trentavari.
favorite store
Yeah.
back in the day.
What?
Remember Charivari?
I bought so many clothes at Charivari in the 80s.
So did I. It was a great shop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I had this partner, this wonderful woman, a friend of mine called Sarah. Not my mom, but a different, yes, go on, Sarah Haddad. She was also a Sephardic Jew.
Okay.
And she was beautiful. She looked like Catherine Deneuve, actually. Yeah, she was beautiful. And I made clothes for her, and then we started making clothes together, and we started selling clothes to like...
That is unbelievable. And you were 15.
16, 15, yeah.
And how would you sell them? You'd go into the store and be like...
Me and Sarah, we'd go in, and on these open... They had like at Henry Bendel in the day, they had this open house, and we actually didn't get into Bendel. That was sad, because I really I mean, Bendel in those days was like it, you know? Not so much anymore, but yeah. Anyway, so it was about Bendel, but we didn't get in. And then we did get into Charivari. We got into Charivari, the store in your neck of the woods called Off Broadway, which isn't there anymore, which is so sad.
Oh, I remember that store. Yes.
Blocky, fabulous.
Yes.
Broadway. I had, exactly. I had some clothes in Off Broadway. We had some clothes in this shop called Lonia on West 55th Street. No one will remember that, but it was very close to Manola Blahnik. That was the fabulous thing about Lonia. Anyway,
so you're
not that interesting, but sorry.
No, I find it fascinating that you're it's 15 years old and you're in the acting Did you do musicals and stuff? Like, what did you do? Like, what were you cast in?
Well, I mean, you know, like King Lear. Okay?
Right. Oh.
Which is hilarious.
Wow.
I mean, if you can tackle King Lear at 15, you can fucking do anything, all right?
Yeah.
Nothing scares you after that, seriously. Right?
Did you get good grades?
I did. I got really good grades, yes. I was a star in my class, darling.
So you were popular.
Yes, I was popular. It was a crazy turn of... I went from like being this insane to being with my tribe.
The chubby gay thumb to like...
I lost all this weight. I was svelte. Yeah.
I should have I can't believe my parents
I can't believe you didn't do that. It
I
sucks.
To suffer through that
you could come from New Jersey. What's wrong with you?
I know, and my mother grew up in Manhattan.
What the hell?
I don't know. My father worked in Trenton, so they picked...
Don't forget to tune in next week to Just Kill Me Now.
It's Just Kill Me.
Oh. Don't forget to turn for part 2 on Just Kill Me.
No, it's not. It's
Just Kill Me.
No.
Judy Gold's Just Kill Me.
Kill me now.
Just Kill Me Now.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying, or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.